Project Twilight, the 23rd Doctor Who main range Big Finish release, first released in 4 parts across CD and download on the 20th of August 2001, and written by Cavan Scott and Mark Wright. Now, I have spoken before about Mark Wright in Doctor Who terms, as he does pop up in The Fearmonger. Unfortunately, it's not the Mark Wright I was thinking of, and the Mark Wright I was thinking of, well, I got that wrong. So, I apologise for any confusion. The one I thought this was a celebrity, and turns out former athlete and footballer who was on Strictly Come Dancing. Yeah, it's not him, it's a different person entirely. So, Mark Wright, the one who appears in Doctor Who Big Finish, I apologise. But anyway. The story, Project Twilight, takes place in Bermondsey in London, kind of around the London Docklands. And it sees the sixth Doctor, voiced by Colin Baker, and his companion Evelyn Smart, just taking a break from their adventures just to have a Chinese takeaway at one of the Doctor's favourite Chinese takeaways, the slow boats. However, in the process they end up discovering various corpses of animals around the Docklands, and that eventually leads them to the Dusk Casino in the London Docklands, where they meet up with several people around the Dusk Casino, including Amelia Dory, played by Holly Dijon, the landlord the owner of the Dusk Casino, Reggie Mead, played by Rob Dixon, one of the workers at the casino, Cassandra Cassie Schofield, voiced by Rosie Cavaliero, Nimrod, voiced by Stephen Chance. You get the picture. But eventually what they discover is that because of the corpses around the place, that these people are actually vampires. Which, on the face of it, Doctor Who with vampires, it does actually sound pretty cool. And the Doctor eventually finds out that these vampires were the result of experiments done by a shadowy organisation known as the Forge. And the Forge do apparently show up in several Doctor Who Big Finish stories, but this was the one where they kind of made their debut, or was the first one we actually heard about them from. And their experiments ended up turning several people into vampires. And unlike traditional vampires who are afraid of sunlight and the like, these vampires, with all their various adaptations, they all have different weaknesses, or they have different things that they don't particularly like. I mean, even Amelia points out to the Doctor that she once knew a vampire who his weakness was helium, which, I mean, some of them don't like sunlight, some of them don't like fire, but once the same, while they hope to be able to undo some of the experiments done to them, some things don't entirely go their way. I mean, while Reggie is just determined just to get through everything and possibly take the Doctor down a head or two, Amelia is pretty much keen to destroy everything once and for all. She wants to be turned back into a regular human, but when everything starts to go wrong, she actually wants the world to pay for what it did to her. She wants to release the virus for the Twilight formula into the Thames in London, so that London will be effectively ruined. Because it turns out that these vampires are a mixture of the Twilight formula that effectively turn them into vampires, and cybernetics, or tiny androids in their bloodstream. Overall, I think this story, it does do some good stuff. I mean, you can definitely feel for one of the characters, Cassie, like Sandra Schofield, voiced by Rosie Cavaliero, who just kind of gets worked up into things, and you can tell that she is scared throughout the entire story. Even when Amelia and Reggie are going fully off the deep end, you can tell that she is just scared for her life, or her death, whatever she wants to call it. And I am happy that, in a sense, she does end up getting a happy ending towards the entire thing. I mean, while she knows that she's got a long road ahead of her, the Doctor takes her someplace where she will ultimately be safe, like away from the hustle and bustle of London. He takes her to Norway, a place where the days are short and the nights are long, and therefore sort of the perfect outlet for her vampirism. Overall, I don't know if Project Twilight is the greatest Doctor Who Big Finish story. It's not one to write home about, but it is a fun one to think about. I mean, Doctor Who does vampires. Doctor Who has done vampires before in later stories. I mean, the one that immediately springs to mind is the Vampires of Venice, but they also did State of Decay. That, I think, was around vampires. And Doctor Who and vampires, where can you go wrong? I think that this is a story that you'll have to listen to for yourself and make your own opinions on it. I would say it's fairly good, not the best, but it's a fun adventure with the Sixth Doctor, Evelyn, and not zombies, vampires. What more do you want from that? Anyway, while we're on our next Doctor Who Big Finish story, well, we'll have to wait and see. Till then, see ya.